Have you ever wondered how to make these big designs for t-shirts and hoodies? Today, I'm going to show you how to make a big heat transfer vinyl design in this trendy style. Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Maker, and it's a beautiful day to make fun shirt designs. Decorating an oversized shirt or hoodie is very similar to a traditional heat transfer vinyl or HTV project, with a few differences in sizing, technique, and assembly. I almost always encourage you to measure your blanks first, even if the packaging lists dimensions. And these large hoodies are a great example of why. These large hoodies are an inch different in height and more than 2 inches different in width. So I'll show you how to measure your garment and adjust the file according to the dimensions, not just the listed size. You can download my free beachy designs from jennifermaker.com/627 through my library. That's also where you'll find my complete materials list and tools list. I used rolls of Cricut Everyday Iron-On Vinyl in bright, fun colors, but you can play with other combinations. I'll show you how to use the free tools in Cricut Design Space to fit the elements on a 12 by 12 inch green standard grip machine mat. And when getting a big 12 by 24 inch mat will save you a lot of time. And since heat transfer vinyl needs heat to stick, I use my Easy Press 2 with a pressing pad. Plus heat-resistant tape, a lint roller to clean the shirt, a ruler for placement, and butcher paper to protect my tools. Remember, I mentioned assembling big designs is a little bit more complex, so pay close attention. I have a sneaky heat-resistant tape trick that's very important too. So, are you ready to get started? Let me show you where to get my free files, and then we'll begin. Step 1. Get my free big HTV designs. First, download the designs at jennifermaker.com/627. You can either download right from that link by saving the project or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 627 and click the link to download the designs. And if you're not sure how to use these files, go to jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how to download and unzip files. There are 3 design files in the SVG folder to fit a large hoodie like the ones in my shopping list. There's Beach More, Worry Less, Always Chasing Sunsets, and Meet You at Sunset. There's also a DXF folder with cut files and a PDF folder with versions that you can cut by hand if you need to. I'm going to use a Cricut Maker 3 cutting machine, but the files can be cut on most other cutting machines. The joy would make this project a little extra challenging, so I don't recommend it at this time. Step 2. Measure and prepare your hoodie design area. If you're using a Cricut Easy Press like I am, set your heat press to 315 degrees Fahrenheit or 157 degrees Celsius for 60 seconds, so you'll have enough time to preheat the entire area. Or if you're using a different heat press or a different type of iron-on vinyl, my HTV cookbook has recipes for many combinations. You can find it at jennifermaker.com/HTV cookbook. Find the center of the hoodie's back by folding it in half vertically. Match up the shoulder seams to make sure the sides are even. Place the folded hoodie on a heat-safe pressing pad with the crease at the right. Lightly press the folded hoodie in sections for about 10 seconds each to set the crease. This also removes excess moisture and smooths wrinkles. Those can both mess up your HTV project. Unfold the hoodie and place it face down on your work surface. Lift the hood out of the way so the design area is as flat as possible. Place your ruler on the crease with one end at the hood seam. Lay the hood down on top of the ruler and measure how much of the back it covers. Most hoods will cover the top 5 or 6 inches. I recommend starting your design about 6 inches down from the hood seam, so not too much is going to get covered by that hood. Now move down to the vinyl starting point. Now measure from where your design will start straight down to where you want the vinyl to end. Stay at least an inch away from the bottom hem seam. That is your maximum height measurement. Then hold your ruler horizontally across the shoulders near the armpits to measure the design area width. Stay at least an inch away from any seams, depending on the hoodie style. Some hoodies taper, so measure right below the armpits and above the bottom seam the same way. I stop the vinyl at least 2 inches from either edge to keep it from wrapping around the body and distorting. If you get different numbers, use the smallest one for your maximum design width so the vinyl won't get too close to the edges in the tapered section. Step 3. Prepare and cut your big HTV design. To make your design in Cricut Design Space, start on a blank canvas, then click Upload and select Upload Image. Click Browse and find the design you want in the SVG folder. I'll use the Beach More, Worry Less design. Then click Upload to add it to the canvas. I'll click Save and give my project a name before we get further. Now zoom out to see the entire design. You can resize the design if you're using a different hoodie, but this size right now fits mine perfectly. Now note that there is no warning icon in the Layers panel indicating that there's any kind of a problem, but let me show you why we need to turn our design into smaller pieces by picking my Maker 3 and selecting Make. In the pop-up, I'll choose Matte since I'm not using Smart HTV. Cricut Design Space won't let me select the 12 by 12 inch machine mat because some elements are too big. If you have a 12 by 24 inch machine mat, you can cut this design without any changes, but I know that's not always going to be the case. So I'll show you how to adjust designs to fit on a smaller mat. I'll click Cancel to get back to the canvas. This design is about 16 inches wide, so splitting the elements in halves vertically should help everything fit on a 12 by 12 inch machine mat. Since I want to create 2 halves, I'll duplicate the design to have 2 working versions. Now move the copies apart on the canvas so you can see both. Select the design on the right and click the eye icon next to its group in the Layers panel to hide it for now. You can leave the other copy together, but I'll ungroup it so it's easier to move the pieces. On the canvas, drag the layers apart so you can see their details, especially the stars. Those stars are registration marks I put in, and we're going to use them during pressing, but I'll show you how to keep them from transferring. Click the Shapes icon and select a free square to add it to your canvas. Keep the lock icon closed to keep a shape a square and change the width to 11.5 inches. The height will adjust instantly. This represents the 11.5 inch square cutting area on a 12 by 12 inch machine mat. Let's make it easier to use for measuring by clicking the Operation drop-down and picking Guide. Now it's a pink outline, so you can bring it to an element like the section that says Beach More to see how much will fit on your material. If I line up the top and left sides, you can see these lines are too wide to fit. The H and E are all the way outside, and the C and R will get cut in half. Plus, we want to have at least the middle star and one other on each section to create 2 alignment points. Putting the seam closer to the middle makes sense, but how can we separate the letters if they're on the same layer? We'll use the contour tool on both of our copies to turn on and off what we need. So with just this layer selected, click Contour. The Contour pop-up window has an outline of your design in the middle and a list of each cut that is part of the design to the side. To turn a cut on or off, click it either in the preview or in the list. If the shape is gray, the machine will include the cut. But if it's white, it will be skipped in this layer. So since this is the left half of my element, I'll click the cut to the right of the middle star. That's the A, C, and H, then O, R, and E. If a shape has a second cut in it, like the island in the A, make sure you have it turned off too. For this piece, it helps to keep all 3 stars active since they're close together. Click the X to close the contour pop-up window and see the results, which now comfortably fit in the cutting area. You can use the contour process to make the left half of Worry Less too. Check it with the guide, and then click Contour and turn off the cuts to the right of the middle star. I'll keep the W, O, the shell, and the 3 stars, but turn off the other pieces. Now we have the left halves, but we still need the right sides. Click the eye icon in Layers panel to unhide that copy you made earlier. You can leave the design together, but I'll ungroup the layers so it's easier to move. Select the first layer that matches one of your contoured elements, and then click Contour. This time, click the cuts that you left in the previous version to turn them off. So this copy includes the other half of the design. So my top element will have ACH and then ORE, plus the middle and right stars. Use the same steps to contour the other half of the second text layer. Back on the canvas, make sure the designs will complete the line when combined, and both have at least 2 stars. If anything doesn't look correct, you can click Contour and try again, because all of the cuts are still available. And now you're ready to cut. Select the correct machine from the top right drop-down corner and then click Make. On the Prepare screen, make sure the correct base material size is selected for your materials. 12 by 12 inches is perfect. Remember to click the mirror toggle on each mat so the design will be cut backwards. This way, they'll look correct after we transfer everything to the hoodie using heat. Now click back on the first mat so it will show on the next page, and then click Continue. Let's set the base material for our first mat. I'm using the same material for everything, so I'll click Browse All Materials and search for Iron-On. I'll select Everyday Iron-On, click Done, and change the pressure setting to More for a cleaner cut. You can check the box next to Remember Material Settings to save time between mats. Place your first mat's vinyl shiny side down on a green standard grip machine mat so it covers the design area. Now remember, HTV must be cut with the carrier sheet, usually the shinier side on the mat. If you're not sure which side is the correct cutting side, use a weeding tool to scratch a corner on each side. The one you can lift is the vinyl side, and that side needs to go up when you're cutting it. I also recommend you use a brayer to adhere really well to your mat. Now check that your premium fine point blade is clean and in the clamp, and then press the flashing button to load the mat into your Cricut, and then press the Flash and Go button to begin cutting. When the cuts are complete, unload your mat, flip it over onto your work surface, and roll the mat back to release the vinyl. Place the vinyl carrier sheet side down back on the machine mat to keep it in place, and then use a weeding tool to remove the excess vinyl starting at the edges. And don't forget to remove all of the counters or the middles of the letters. Use the same steps to cut and weed your other design elements. Here are what my cut pieces for the Beach More, Worry Less design look like. Step 4. Transfer your big HTV designs to your hoodie. If you're using a Cricut Easy Press like I am, set your heat press to 315 degrees Fahrenheit or 157 degrees Celsius and set your timer to 30 seconds. Put the prepared hoodie face down on your work surface. Use a lint roller to remove any dust or debris that might interfere with the iron-on vinyl, and make sure it's flat and the crease is straight. I like to start with the bottom left piece when assembling the design. Gently lay the HTV pieces carrier sheet up on the hoodie to make sure your design is complete and sized correctly. Remember, use the star registration marks to get the spacing and alignment correct. If the carrier sheet pieces are much larger than the design or too uneven, trim away the extra with scissors. Once everything is aligned, gently lift the assembled vinyl using the carrier sheet. And then set everything aside, sticky side up. Place your pressing pad inside the hoodie so the lower left section where your design will start is perfectly flat. Pressing pads really make a difference here, and I highly recommend them. Just be sure to keep the pressing pad away from seams and edges because it can raise the fabric up in those spots and create an uneven surface. On the hoodie's crease, measure up from the bottom to find where you wanted the design to start and make a small indent with your finger. I'll mark 1 inch up. Now grab the assembled design and hold it sticky side down. Carefully bring the long edges together, lining up the vinyl instead of the carrier sheet to find the design's middle point. Now crease the very top and bottom edges of the carrier sheet to mark the vertical middle. Just don't crease the vinyl or it may wrinkle later on. Now align the vertical creases and the bottom of the design on that mark to lightly position your design, sticky side down. Once the bottom is positioned, hold it in place and use your other hand to gently smooth the rest of the design onto the hoodie, making sure the creases match at the top. Smooth the fabric as you go to keep wrinkles from interfering with your vinyl. Double check that the hood won't cover too much of your design, because you can still reposition the design now since only the carrier sheet is sticky, not the vinyl. Once you're happy with the design, press down firmly on the bottom left piece to make sure it will stay in place. Then gently remove the rest of the elements. As long as this piece is in the right spot and we use the registration marks correctly, the others will be positioned correctly later on as we go along. Just try not to shift or stretch the fabric while you remove everything, because we want to keep the hoodie smooth for a consistent transfer. If you don't want the registration marks to transfer, carefully peel up just enough of the carrier sheet to access one and add heat-resistant tape to cover it. Make sure the tape's sticky side will touch the fabric, but don't let it touch any other vinyl design elements or it will keep them from sticking too. Then press the section back in place to maintain the position. Make sure the pressing pad is under the first design section, and then cover the project with clean butcher paper to protect the fabric from extra heat. It also protects the press from any unprotected vinyl later on. Now carefully center your heat press over the design and then press it with heavy pressure for 30 seconds. If the design is larger than your press, which is likely, press it in sections with a tiny overlap to make sure you heat the entire area evenly for the correct time. When the time is up, carefully lift the heat press and return it to its base since it's still very hot and you don't want to burn yourself. Now remove the butcher paper and let the HTV sit under the carrier sheet until it's cool to the touch, even over the vinyl. Once it's cool, press down on the carrier sheet over each registration mark to make sure the heat-resistant tape is really secure to the fabric and it won't shift. Then hold the fabric in place and slowly peel up the carrier sheet in a smooth motion. Leave the star registration marks in place to help align the other layers. If any design pieces don't completely bond to the fabric, cover them with the empty carrier sheet and try heating them as part of another area or on their own. Use the stars to align the next section of the design sticky side down and press it in place with your fingers. I like to work side to side and then go vertical. Now, if one star shifted, use the points from the other one and the surrounding design pieces for reference. The elements will still be in the right spot. I'm layering existing registration marks, but if your piece has any new ones, remember to add heat-resistant tape underneath them. Now, without shifting the fabric much, move the pressing pad so it's under the new design area. Make sure your heat press won't touch any uncovered vinyl when you press the new area. If it will, use pieces of a used carrier sheet to protect the existing vinyl. Just put them on top so they won't interfere with the new vinyl that you're pressing. Cover the project with butcher paper and press the new section for 30 seconds with heavy pressure. Again, safely remove the press when the time is up, pick up the butcher paper, and let the new section cool. Then gently peel it up to show your first aligned sections. They should look very close to the original design layout thanks to the stars. Use the same steps to continue positioning and pressing your design sections. As it comes together, you can also use the other elements to make sure your new sections are in the right spots. Take your time with big designs and projects like this. It will be worth the patience, I promise. Once everything is good, peel up the tape under each registration mark to remove them. And that's it, your hoodie is now complete. Variation number 1, Meet You at Sunset, Big HTV Design. You can use the same steps to prepare and apply my 2 other designs in the zip file. For the Meet You at Sunset design, I use the same steps to break the elements into 8 pieces and cut them out of red, orange, and yellow HTV. The two colors for the sun's rays do mean that you'll be pressing the same area a little more than usual, so be sure to take your time there. Then follow the main tutorial to align the design on your prepared hoodie and press it in one section at a time. Remember, use the star registration marks and protect them with tape if you don't want them on the sweatshirt. Variation number 2, always chasing sunsets. My last design has text layers that could be contoured to fit on a 12 by 12 inch mat, but the sun and water layers are too large to fit and would be difficult to adjust. So instead, I recommend using a 12 by 24 inch mat, which can fit the elements as they are. Now, when your design is all ready, select the correct machine and click Make. And in the pop-up window, select On Mat and click the circle for 12 by 24 inch. And then click Confirm. On the mat with the text elements, drag them apart a little so they'll be easier to separate after cutting. And don't forget to mirror. And then just follow the Beach More, Worry Less tutorial to cut your design using a big green standard grip machine mat, and then weed your pieces. You can follow the same process to assemble and press this design. The pieces will just be bigger if you use the big mat. That means there are fewer pieces to align and press. Step 5, show it off. Here are our hoodies with big HTV designs. Don't they look really, really cool? Step 6, customize it. Would you like to learn how to make your own big design in this style with whatever you want in it? I can totally teach you how to design a warped text design using free tools in Canva, even big enough for a hoodie like this. Plus, I'll show you how to prepare the custom file so you can add your own registration marks and cut it into tiles just like we did in Cricut Design Space. Once you know the steps, you can use them to make lots and lots of big designs like this. The tutorial is a part of a special program called Advance with Jennifer Maker. This program helps you expand your crafting skills by teaching you how to make these popular designs unique and special through tutorials, design workshops, and templates, as well as give you advanced access to my vast library of designs, projects, and resources. Now, I may or may not be accepting new members into the advanced program at the time you see this, but if you're interested, go to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more and see how it all works. Now that you've seen how to prepare and tile a big HTV design, I hope you'll give it a go. If you need any help, there's reference photos in the tutorial over at jennifermaker.com/627. And remember, information on learning how to design your own hoodie decoration is over at jennifermaker.com/advance. Do you want to make these but don't have a Cricut yet? A Cricut will really make cutting the HTV so much easier than trying to get perfect cuts by hand, especially since you need to leave the carrier sheet layer intact. But I don't want you to be left out, so I'd love to see you get one too. Yes, you. And I regularly do a Cricut machine giveaway over on my blog. So enter for the chance to win and get all of the giveaway details at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. I'd love for you to win and make your own hoodies and so much more. If you have any questions about working with HTV, your cutting machine, or anything else Cricut or craft related that you think I can help you with, please let me know. You can leave your question below this video or ask in our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/Cricut Crafters. And please share photos of your hoodies or other projects too. We absolutely love to see them. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.